Hey, you guys, I just got my podcast up on Apple Podcasts. It would mean so much to me if you could go give me a follow and write a review. Thank you so much and enjoy the episode. Today, we're going to talk about the 3 reasons why I keep learning every single day. Hey, you guys, my name is Jonah Magness. Welcome back to the Magness Mogul Podcast. I own and operate martial arts studios, and we're here today to talk about the things that I've done that's been able to help myself and my friends grow our fitness business. So the obvious reason of why to keep learning is to keep improving yourself. And if you really think about it, within the fitness industry, as well as across several of their industries, they have continuing education requirements. So what that looks like is to keep your personal trainer certification. You have to take a certain number of courses and accredited classes to keep it up to date, so that way they know you're participating in the industry and you're using the most up-to-date stuff in your business, or at least you're more likely to be using the most up-to-date stuff. In my world for martial arts, we have stuff within our organization and outside of our organization that we go to make sure we're participating. That plays a factor into our own ability to have a business, to run classes, to be part of their program and their organization. And it's super important for us to keep developing ourselves and our team to make sure we're providing the best product possible. As well as I know for a fact in a lot of medical fields, they have certain seminars and everything they have to go to keep their licenses up to date. So it just makes a lot of sense that we even take it upon ourselves to go above and beyond when it comes to continuing our education. Staying up to date keeps you more valuable, like I was saying. And in my opinion, the best thing to ever invest in is yourself. That's always going to give you the best ROI because you get to control your actions, and then you'll be able to keep your product outstanding, keep your team growing, and keep growing your business. So the 3 things I've done to keep learning, along with many others, of course, is going to conferences, reading a ton of books, and just listening to podcasts and talking to other people within the industry that are ahead of me at the same spot as me, or even if they're behind me, just getting their own ideas of what's helping them so far. So one conference that I recently went to was GymCon, and now it's a little bit outside of my industry, but it put me around a ton of people who are a lot like me in terms of we have fitness businesses, whether it's martial arts or a traditional gym, personal training, or large group fitness. And it gave me people that were at the same spot as me, 1 step ahead of me, or 1,000 steps ahead of me. And what that allowed me to do is pick their brains and see what's working for them and what I can do the day I got back to help my business improve. 2 things I took away from this conference is learning the order with which you should be hiring new people. I knew the obvious of getting myself off the floor because I was already creating instructors and creating people who could do that part for me. Then learning the next steps of like if it should be admin or sales or marketing, and how it based on my own personal skills was super valuable for me that I took away from the very first day of the conference. Then the next thing I took away was how to increase referrals, which was actually a process that I was already working on trying to improve within my business. So it was super useful to hear how these people had grown their referral programs and made it a game, made it so exciting to not only improve their product so much that it was easy to get referrals, but also the steps they took to promote it internally and externally validate all of these things, along with the rewards they were giving for their referrals at different stages of their business, whether they were just starting out or whether they were absolute killers in the industry. And the biggest thing from all of this conference was that everything was tactical. They would explain the theories and the concepts that they were doing, and then they'd go step by step of exactly how to implement it into our own businesses and give a bunch of different samples and examples of little twists and turns that people had put on it for themselves in their presentations. The next is books. I consume so many business books, and that's just because I would argue that I'm lucky in that I genuinely am so intrigued by business and business success and what makes businesses operate, function, and everything like that. But 3 books that are top of mind that I've read recently that really, really helped impact my business and improve myself are Gym Launch Secrets by Alex Hormozi, Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss with Tal Roz, and Feel Good Productivity by Ali Abdaal. All of these books have had a dramatic input in different ways. So in Gym Launch Secrets by Alex Hormozi, for me, this book was so important because it was the first time I read a business book that specifically was about the fitness industry. And I'm sure there are others, but this was the first one I found so many years ago, and I was able to implement things right away. I reread it, and one takeaway that I had was if you guys watched my very first video on this channel about why you should be charging more, this book is the one that gave me the exact steps of how to go about that process. I had wanted to charge more since 2019, but I didn't exactly know what steps to take to do a sweeping increase across all of our current clients. And this book gave me the exact tactics of how to present it to our families, how to present it to our students, how to present it to our current people, and the back end of explaining why we were doing exactly what we were doing and the benefits that it would serve my clients rather than just how it would obviously benefit me by charging more. Then Never Split the Difference is easily my favorite negotiating book. it's helped me so much with sales, and it's helped me so much with how I communicate with others and my mindset behind it all. And again, it was very tactical. Chris Voss went through and explained in multiple examples of how different people he's either worked with or friends of his or his own examples were able to use those strategies in his book and exactly the numbers they presented and everything like that. One takeaway that stuck with me forever that I've used since the first day that I read this book was being super specific on your numbers. When you're talking to people, the more specific you are and the more patient you are when you present those numbers are two of your most lethal skills when it comes to negotiation as well as sales. And again, like I just said, it gave the how-tos. It told me how to do it, especially when I was reading this book while I was in high school. I didn't know a lot, so I needed somebody to walk me through all of the steps, and that made it that much more valuable for me. Last but not least for myself was Feel Good Productivity by Ali Abdaal. If you guys don't know who he is, he's this huge productivity YouTuber, and I love the man to death, and I love his content. This book, however, wasn't necessarily for me, but I didn't know that when I first got it. I don't have much of an issue with productivity. I can just make myself work. I have my own strategies, my own mechanisms that have been really successful for me, but they're only successful for me. And what I loved that I didn't realize I was going to get out of this book was it gave me a bunch of new ways that I could talk to my team about being more productive, how to be more successful. It gave me exact wording, exact verbiage, and helped me understand how other people see needing to be productive. And that's been really, really helpful for me. Learning these different styles in Feel Good Productivity made it so that way I could present it to my whole team of different ways they can change their own mindset to be able to be more productive, whether that just be in school and their day-to-day lives or in my business, which is super helpful to make them just better people all around, which is exactly what I'm going for. It definitely helped me be a better leader of the leaders I have in my business. Lastly, podcasts and just talking to people. The reason behind this, in my opinion, is just consuming all of this media around other people's mindsets around certain topics, whether it's something I'm being attacked by currently or something that might come up in the future or something I've already dealt with. I get to hear how they would handle it, would have handled it, or things that I can just have in the back of my brain if something ever presents itself. And that I find really valuable for people who have already been in my shoes or just are absolute killers in their own respective industry because they're doing something right and there's a way I can apply it to myself to help grow my own mentality. If you notice, a lot of things I've been saying was the how-to, the how-to, the how-to. For me, being able to have someone just tell me this is what to do, or this is the concept, here's the strategy, here's the overarching thing, that's great. It's really hard for me to put that into action all the time. I'll do it. It just takes me a lot of time. But all of these books that are sitting at the top of my mind that are constantly racing through my head, even the podcast and stuff, are the exact, hey, this is the idea. This is how to execute on X, Y, and Z. This is how we did it. This is how this person did it. This is how these 1,000 people did it when it came to GymCon. And for me, that was the most valuable part of all of it, was being able to see the how-to list and then going back and reworking it specifically for my business to help myself be more successful using these tools. One thing I'm a firm believer in is what you consume is who you become. If you surround yourself with successful people, if you and your friends are all out there going out every night, having a great time, good. If that's what you enjoy, do that. But if you're around people who are all working and pushing themselves to improve constantly, whether that be the books you're reading and putting into your head, whether that be the media you're consuming and listening to, that's going to show 10 times over who you are as a person. And it's really going to impact the trajectory of your life, whether you realize it entirely or not. And I believe that to be true, which is why I'm thankful that I enjoy consuming so much media about business. And that's why I love sharing about it as well. I want you to send this to someone who maybe needs to keep learning, to keep themselves improving, to stay at the top of their business. And like and subscribe for more. Check out the rest of the videos in my playlist. See you guys next time.